Chapter 3. I look up from my album to find my mother staring at me. It is warm in the train because it is so crowded, and Mother's face is flushed. Of course, it doesn't help that she is wearing 2 layers of clothes and her heaviest coat and her ski boots. Still, the flush of her cheeks just makes her look prettier. My friends were always telling me what a pretty mother I had. And all of Father's friends were taken with her the moment she walked into a room. She has dark wavy hair and large brown eyes. Nothing unusual in that. It's just the way her face all comes together. She's not only beautiful though, it's that her inner calm and sweetness shines through her eyes. I love to photograph her. "What?" I say to her. "It's your photo album," she replies. "When I was 14, Oma Rachel and Opa Samuel had pictures of all our special events. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, anniversaries. Look what your album has in it. Nothing but horrible memories." "They aren't all so bad, Mother," I say, trying to make her feel better. How can I tell her that I'm looking through them to try to make sense of this nightmare? I can't let her see how upset I am. It would only make her more miserable. Her eyes well up with tears. She smiles in the hope that I won't notice. Of course they aren't, Daniel. She knows that I'm trying to make her feel better, and that makes her feel worse. "Why don't you close your eyes for a few minutes and rest?" my father suggests to her. "Yes," she agrees. "I think I will." She leans her head on Father's shoulder. Erica looks down at my album. She shakes her head when she sees the pictures I have it open to, and goes back to composing quietly in her head. I remember Auntie Leah giving me Uncle Peter's camera when she and her children moved in with us after they took Uncle Peter away. Friedrich settled into my room, and the first thing we did was turn one of the closets into a dark room. Then I read every book I could on photography until I felt ready to begin taking pictures. Since Uncle Peter was my favorite uncle and Auntie Leah had given me his camera, I felt it was my duty to take over his responsibility as the family photographer. Friedrich and I made a pact that we would photograph everything we could as a record of our ill treatment by our fellow Germans. I look at the photos of the identification cards we Jews had to carry. Our ID cards were stamped with a big J for Jew. If you didn't carry it at all times, you could be arrested. And yet if you did carry it, you were marked as a Jew. The date on the photo reads July 23rd, 1938. Erica suddenly interrupts my thoughts. "Just after you took that, we had to change our names," she remarks, pointing at the ID card photos. The Germans, in their search for racial purity, decreed all Jews had to add a Jewish name to their other one. Sarah for a girl, Israel for a boy. If I signed anything, I had to sign it Daniel Israel. Father was Joseph Israel, Mother was Ruth Sarah, and Erica was now Erica Sarah. I remember Erica said at the time that Sarah was a beautiful name, and she was proud to add it to her own. Still, we should have seen then how much they really hated us. Hated us so much that we couldn't even have German names. We had to be identified as Jews above all. But weren't we German too? No more. This was another way to separate us from the true Germans. The next photo is very underexposed. It shows Father's store, but this time the windows have been smashed, and it shows people leaving the store, arms filled with merchandise. These people were looting his store, carrying away whatever they could. They were Father's customers, people he trusted. It is the day after Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. Called that because all night you could hear the sound of glass breaking, the glass of synagogues and Jewish stores and homes and prayer halls. Under the picture is the date, November 10th, 1938. Father told me later that the events of that night had started in Paris, when a young Polish Jew had shot a German official. He did it to avenge his family, who had been expelled from Germany by the Nazis with thousands of others and sent without food, money, or any of their belongings to a city in Poland called Lodz. After the man he shot died, the SS, Hitler's elite, bodyguards and powerful police force, ordered its troops into the streets of all German cities to take action against the Jews, to teach them a lesson. What a terrifying night it was. We lived in a quiet residential area. We had both Jewish and non-Jewish neighbors. Our area was not deeply affected by the rioting, but Father had been working late and didn't return home that night. Fires blazed all over the city. Glass broke. Screams filled the air. My mother would let none of us leave the house. We turned off all the lights and pretended no one was home. We were in a panic, worried sick about Father. The next morning she allowed Friedrich and me to go search for him. We ran to the store. That's when I took this picture. But Father was nowhere to be seen. All that day we waited. Even Erica's violin was silent. Barely anyone spoke. Uncle Walter came home with Uncle Aaron. They sat with Mother. She cooked our meals and never broke down once. Finally, at around 9 p.m., the door opened. It was Father. Mother flew into his arms. I wanted to do the same, but suddenly I felt shy. He motioned Erica and me to come over and gave us both a kiss. His brothers hugged him. Auntie Leah hugged him. He sank into a chair. Mother ran to get him a glass of water. "I've been at the police station," he said softly. I managed to bribe my way out. "I don't want to talk about it." He turned to his brothers. "It's time to leave," he said. "Past the time." "And what country will take us?" Walter said. "Remember that newspaper headline this summer after the conference at Evian in France? 'Jews for sale. Who wants them?' No one." "Still," Father answered, "we must try." Jews for sale. No one wanted us. The Germans would have gladly let us go, but no country would open their doors to us. They got together at a conference and decided that they didn't want us any more than Germany did. Yes, they took a few, just not too many. Father tried hard to get us visas, but many countries had decided that they would let in a certain number of Jews each year. That many and no more. They called it a quota. The United States had a quota of people from Germany that was not filled, yet they wouldn't let any more in either. Uncle David, who was already in the United States, tried to help us, but his letters became more and more discouraged. Most of the synagogues burned down during Kristallnacht, and many of the smaller prayer halls. After that night, life became harder and harder. Father's store was taken over by the Germans. They paid him a few marks to make it all seem nice and legal, and a man called Mr. Schnarr was given ownership of it. Father was heartbroken. He'd worked all his life to build up that business, and suddenly it was taken away from him. Mr. Schnarr kept Father on as a clerk. That way, the customers continued to come. Now we had almost no money. Auntie Leah managed to get work as a nurse at a Jewish hospital. We were no longer even allowed to vacation in Germany, to go to the sea to swim, or to the mountains to ski. How I had loved skiing! The speed, the cold, the daring. Mother had bought all of us brand new ski boots. They stood idle in the back hallway. The next few pages of the album are a series of photos I took on the streets of Frankfurt. To earn money, I'd snap a picture and then ask the person if he wanted to buy it. If he said yes, I'd take down his name and address and deliver the photo to him when it was ready. I was able to make a little money that way, and I also felt like I was recording these faces, and that behind each of these faces was a story, even if I didn't know it. Of course, the photos in my book are those that weren't bought.